Okay, I'm gonna share these with you. I don't know if I hope these are in order. They're probably not in order, but let me see if I can parse these out for you here. This is what was sent to me by my anonymous spies who will go nameless for now. One of these you've probably already seen. So let's share the screen. And is it this one? Yes. These were what was shared with me not too long ago. Okay. This is what I got from the DGG Relay. And this is a discussion between Destiny and a DGG Relay. I think maybe Chud Logic has already covered this, but I'm going to cover it anyways. This is the one that you just saw in that. By the way, this is all, I'm not doxing anybody. This is all, you can grab this anywhere. If the Sun has this, anybody can get this. Don't think I'm special. Okay. Let's see, Destiny. Yeah, I wanted to have a massive therapy session to see if I could express yourself. Like, still reaching for that emotionalism. If I could express myself better and iron out some of the boundaries. What fucking boundaries, brah? She's living at the dude's house. You fuck other girls and other guys. What boundaries could there possibly be that would, we're done. But it's hard for me to ask for anything if I've been a pushover for so many years. You've been a pushover since that first video, man. Sleepy Runt, why? This proves every point I've ever made. Girls can leave you for jobless, manipulative losers if they just play their cards right. You mean, let's see, mate switching hypothesis is bullshit?
Guilty, guilty,
yes.
guilty.
Say my name.
Josh, yeah, me. Discovering boundaries was the death knell in this relationship. So you just now discovered boundaries. Congratulations, Destiny. I'm glad we finally come to the boundaries part, which, by the way, I'm going to explain something to you guys here. You know what? I got to put this off. Both of these topics, everything that I'm talking about, like I named today's show, She's Not Yours, It Was Just Your Turn. I just wrote about this on my Substack. If you're not subscribed to my Substack, you can be a free member if you want. If you want to be a member, it's $10 a month. If you want to be a year membership, it only costs you $90. That's it. I'm a cheap hooker. So please support me on Substack. But I just wrote my last two essays, in fact. First one, or the last one, was She's Not Yours, It's Just Your Turn. And the one before that was boundaries. Both of these topics right here. So just to give you a better idea. Yeah, you found boundaries finally. Now, let's, maybe we should just pause here for just a second. Boundaries. What does Royal Tomasi say about boundaries? Boundaries have to be enforced. They are not boundaries. Demonstrate. Do not explicate. You're expressing yourself in a fucking, marriage counseling thing means nothing. Hypergamy doesn't care, Destiny. Hypergamy doesn't care. She's with this guy probably because she wants to get away from you. I would say that the slap in the face in all of this is not that she's getting together with Harry Styles or whatever the guy's name is. It's because she wants to she's already checked out of the marriage. She checked out of the marriage long before any of this happened. And it's probably not helping that the dude is like addicted to Vyvanase right now. He probably can't get his pecker hard. But be that as it may, she's probably been trying to exit this for quite some time and still been like playing the role because that's what people expect of her. And if she doesn't play that role, then she's fucked. And so is Destiny for that matter too. They've ever since the Lex Friedman interview between them when they're talking about open marriages and shit like that. Yeah. It's been, and how do I know this? Well, I will tell you because there are very many behavioral cues or similarities, let's say, between Robert Kiyosaki and Kim Kiyosaki. Really, we got to hold up. They have an empire. They have the Rich Dad Poor Dad empire, man. They have appearances to keep up. I couldn't broadcast. I couldn't publish the very first interview that me and Fresh did with Robert Kiyosaki back in like 2021 because Kim Kiyosaki's people wouldn't allow it because they were trying to keep up appearances. Not unlike Lauren Southern keeping her wedding ring on when she was long since divorced that I called out. That was the beginning of the end. Yeah, keeping up appearances. I saw, by the way, yes, I did see Lauren Southern talking to Tammy Peterson. I'm just like, you are she's a pathological liar. I mean, I'm watching this. I mean, you are pathological. It's like there's this little world that she lives in. It's like, bitch, you kept your ring on, your wedding ring on for God knows how long to keep up appearances so that you would look like you're some good conservative trad con, hunting in the forest somewhere in Canada or the fuck it is. You're a fraud. You've been a fraud from day one. And when somebody finally calls you out on it, you got to go and find some bullshit way to, manufacture dirt on somebody for it. The very fact that they would go to that extent leads me to believe there's a lot more to this than they are letting on. I'm also going to be, it's going to be interesting to me anyways, to see who throws Destiny under the bus. Is it going to be Melina? Like I fully expect, because this is the kind of shit that happens. I fully expect somebody like Melina or somebody who knows Melina will come to me and say, Rolo, here's the real dirt. Make it public. I know you hate that. I know you hate him, and I hate him now too. So here's what really happened. Like I'm totally expecting that to happen. And there's an aftermath to this, but let's keep going with the rest of this stuff here so I don't bore you. There's that. Destiny, I'll have a small conversation when I'm back about things. I'm not going to nuke Melina or anything. This is from the article. But the last 2 months and 2 weeks have been a massive mind fuck for me, watching her become obsessed with a toxic, abusive guy. When I visited Sweden last, he gave Mel an ultimatum to divorce me and then threatened to off himself. When he didn't do it, among 20 other abusive, manipulative things, he's done. And endlessly make excuses for him, so I'm out. Remember, she was living with this guy at the time, or like functionally living with the guy. Anyway, have fun with the movies for 3 days, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is DJJ Relay. Josh, me discovering boundaries was the death knell for this relationship. That was that. I think I already read this. Massive therapy session, which is going to do absolutely nothing. That was also part of that. And then what was this one? Sorry, these were out of order. My bad. FCSD. The problem isn't the person being manipulative. The problem is the difference in how we treat our spouse. Destiny, if girls want to get close to me, historically, they know the only way they could ever do it was sometimes by exaggerating how much they like Melina. Because shitting on Melina or attacking my wife gets you instantly cut out of my life. Lauren Southern much? But for Melina, the way to get closer to her was always by shitting on me, because she loved the emotional validation of people making her feel like every single problem in the relationship was my fault. Destiny Spawn, I had a toxic problem with blaming myself for every single problem ever in any of my relationships ever. So I figured if something was wrong, it was always on me to fix it. Yeah, we know, because he's very self-defeating. The reason why this is one reason why I think that this isn't bullshit, because whenever I've had, confrontations, or I've ever had like debates with Destiny, it's usually him defending womankind. It's usually see if I can get this bigger for you. Sorry. It's usually him making efforts to defend the poor little vulnerable ladies. And it's what I expect from most blue pill guys, most autistic blue pill guys, is to be like a white knight. Destiny just takes it to the nth degree because he's got that sort of spurgy autistic way of just like OCDing on shit like this. But at the core of it, it comes down to this emotionalism versus empiricism is what it comes down to. So everything is his fault. It's because he's a man, because he's got a dick hanging between his legs, I think. And he, the fact that he would blame himself, it's not just even so much that's rooted in the idea that men ought to be blamed for everything, that they owe women a better life. Mel just wants validation. Oh, we're here. I wanted a massive therapy session, blah, blah, blah. Mel just wants validation, and this guy is willing to do anything for her. You want to know why she's leaving? This is it. He has no job, no life. Everything revolves around her. He changes his sleep schedule when he travels to talk to her constantly. I'll touch on that a little bit. Yeah, the boundaries and everything in my relationship are absolutely fucking insane, but I never complain publicly because I didn't want to make Melina look bad. So there's that looking bad thing, keeping up appearances. Jabog, I'm fine. This is the last toxic holdover I have from my past. So here it is, all good for me. I didn't want to complain because I don't want to make my wife look bad because we're supposed to be a married team, but she has no problem dumping on me to literally dozens and dozens of people. So funny, people saying another Bob Seven. Oh, yeah. Not realizing that there were like 50 Bob Sevens. I presume that was one of the guys that she was like fucking around with. Let's see. Anything else in here? I think these are all pretty much the same shit. Oh, this is what I thought was interesting. So I want to catch up on this one. For Melina, it was always a way to get closer to her was by shitting on me because she loved the emotional validation of people making her feel like every single problem in the world was my fault. Because I had a toxic problem of blaming myself, yada yada. Jeepers. They seemed okay because 3 days ago, before Mel was supposed to leave forever, this guy did something else insanely toxic, horrible. Then Mel kind of warmed up to what I was asking for. Then in a day, she forgave everything again and is now back in it. I told her that her and all of her shit needs to be gone before I'm back on the 9th. At least, oh gosh, thank you, Destiny. At least she like picked up on the boundaries thing. Yes, a good troll is me spending 5 days off stream, death spiraling. Absolutely epic. Yeah, great. Let's see. So they say, yes, that's when he gave Mel an ultimatum to divorce me. When she didn't answer for a few hours, he begged her to come back that night. When she said no, he threatened to commit suicide if she didn't. Destiny. Things have been kind of rocky since then. I was kind of happy, to be honest. I figured he'd outed himself and Mel would disengage, but she has made more excuses for his behavior than I've ever seen in my life. It's insane. You mean kind of like what she did to the other guy when you poached her? Sognick, not even that, laughing my ass, LMO. He's lied about things she's said to friends, lied about things her friends have said, all to cut her off from her friends and isolated her until the only friend group she has left. Okay. Anyways, this is just he said, she said bullshit. Just get rid of that. All right. So anyways, there you go. That's pretty good. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. So that was the communiques that I got. I'm sure probably other people have this too. It's again, you can go find that on the DGG site. Somebody just sent that to me. Anyways, there you go. You called it. Are you sure you called it? I think I called it. Who called it? Anybody else call it? I called it. Did you call it? Wait. I mean, we should have our own Discord server. People who called it the divorce coming before it did. Last but not least, I want to also throw this out here while I'm here because I got a couple other things I want to get into. But what this really is a representation of what we have done with marriage. What is marriage right now? One of the questions I always ask when I'm on like Access Vegas, or if I could be on Fresh and Fit too, but what I ask on Access Vegas is this: is like when I see women who are in poly relationships, or for instance, like Jay Waller, Michael Sartain, who, as you know, are both good friends of mine. But if I talk to women who get into sort of poly relationships, for lack of a better term, they get into thruples, they get into multiples, whatever. What constitutes cheating? And I think this is what throws off a lot of tradcons. So tradcons, Daily Wire people who I know troll my show and watch my show, here's some free content for you. What you really need to be asking yourself is, do you actually have a problem with poly? Do you actually have a problem? Is it like, of course you have a spiritual problem with it, biblically, I guess it's wrong, but put that aside for a moment. What I think the problem that you're having is not so much a spiritual problem. I think it's a definition problem, because I pointed this out, and I've said this on this show before. And yeah, cheating is whatever the woman says. Yeah, in a closed on his end, closed on her end. I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, that's actually a pretty good one. So, what constitutes cheating? I have my relationship with my wife. I'm going to explain to you what cheating would be to Rolo Tomas. My wife going and fucking some other guy. That would be it. That would be cheating. That would be done. That is the capital offense. That is scorched earth. That is done. One and done. That's it. Because in that situation, it is not a question of, oh, you got to rebuild the trust, blah, 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 blah. No. It's not about trust. It's about desire. It's about loss of desire. And that would be it. That would be the end of it. And I'm going to show you a couple, and no pandering and no bullshit. That would be it. Done. Okay. So that's real. For me, it's real easy. And I think most people in closed on her end, closed on your end relationship, the classic marriage, that's usually the way it is. Okay. Yeah, I know. Sorry. I don't mean to be controlling. My bad. But so how does that work if you're Mike Sartain? How does that work if you're Justin Waller? You've got your main, you got your baby mama, you got your wife in some cases, and you get side pieces, and you can fuck girls. Whether your wife goes out or your girlfriend goes out and pulls and brings in the girls for you is kind of immaterial. So what constitutes cheating? Well, I've asked Mike this before, and he said, well, if she went out and got something on the side, it's closed on her end, right? So if she fucks around, that's cheating, right? That's the boundaries. That's what's been established as the doctrine of the relationship. Now, if they're both fucking the girl in bed, that, they both say, hey, I like her. You like her? Yeah, I like her too. Let's bring her in, right? That's not cheating. That's just them having a good time with a girl. Now, if Mike falls in love with another woman, is that considered cheating? And now suddenly it's like all of the investment that Kylie's put into the relationship. Now she's fucked. This is me, but I would say that would be cheating, right? So what's crossing the boundary? What's the line? And then there's the situation with an open relationship. And the open relationship is, do you I just read you the Jack Murphy blog, but we're going to focus on Destiny here. What concept, what's a boundary? What the fuck is a boundary at that point? So living with the guy in Sweden, getting out of the house, you're done, right? But why even call it a marriage at that point? And I think that's what really throws off conservatives right now, especially the Lila Roses and the Michael Knowles and everyone else, is that we're redefining marriage right now. We're trying to figure out how to do marriage in the 21st century. And it doesn't gel with an old order 20th century model or 20th century spirituality or whatever you want. It doesn't have to be Christianity. It's also, you could be Muslim too, right? Although you can have 4 wives in Islam. But the idea of an open marriage as something that is sustainable, that can keep going, you can be, we're going to be in an open marriage when we're 90. No, you're not. I could tell you emphatically, no, you are not. So the thing is this, is what is the boundary? And now suddenly he's like, oh, I suddenly discovered boundaries. Well, yeah, moving to Sweden is a boundary. I guess she crossed that line. But I don't think that traditionalists or tradcons really understand that the predicament that they're in. It's like Aaron Clary says, we live in a post-marriage society and nobody has realized it yet. Nobody wants to accept it yet. And all of the stuff that we see when we see Adam 22, whoring out Lena the Plug in some big engagement media, plan. Is that cheating? She's fucking another guy. It would be cheating in my book, be cheating in my relationship, and my relationship's doctrine, that would be cheating, but not in his. But yet they can still call themselves, married. I've seen the wedding pictures. He posted them, Adam 22 and Lena, she wore a white dress. They're married. So is Justin Waller. So is Destiny. They're married. I don't think, I guess Jack Murphy wasn't married. Katie Hill. Do you guys know who Katie Hill is? Katie Hill used to be a congresswoman from, I think, California, until she started fucking around with one of her staffers, who was a female as well, like a lesbian thing, right? But they had an open marriage until such time as Katie started taking a liking to one of her bulls, I guess. And then the jealous husband, outed her, and she had to step down as a congresswoman as a result of that. This happened in 2018, 2019, maybe it's 2020. I'm not sure. Anyway, of course. And then what does she do? She says, well, I should be able to do this. It doesn't matter if I have OnlyFans. I'm still an effective congresswoman. And this is it's because of this patriarchal, misogynist, infrastructure of politics today. It's just
misogyny.
I just don't know what to do. Yeah. Katie Hill, go look her up. She was very vocal about it. She's gone now. I don't think she's like made a big noise for a while. But Katie Hill was in a poly relationship. Where is she now? Is that something that's sustainable? And I've asked everybody that I know. Do you think that you're going to still be able to have you're going to invite girls into your bed when you're like in your 70s? And, maybe that's what they think. When you have kids, when you have children running around the house, do you think you're going to be able to go out on a Friday night, go pick up a girl, or still have that access to go and fuck other chicks? Maybe that's going to limit you from things. That was really the basis of the fundamental idea behind the vasectomy tweet that I threw out there. You want the quickest way to being a high value guy is avoid family, avoid marriage, get a vasectomy so you don't get a paternity suit and get baby trapped, and stay on top of your game. Never let you resist the lure of easing up on your focus. Stay in shape, blah blah. All the other things you don't remember except for vasectomy, right? All that stuff. Yeah. Well, that was really about what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice family? Are you willing to sacrifice marriage? Are you willing to sacrifice, are you going to, snip your junk so you don't get baby trapped? What are you willing to sacrifice so that you can get to the top of your game? That's really what it was a question about. Then everybody loses their mind because they take it completely out of context. But that's really what it was about. And really that comes back to the marriage question and what are boundaries? What are you going to do? This is the most logical outcome of a poly open relationship. You're experiencing it. Suddenly you discovered boundaries. And you know what? Boundaries are anathema to an open relationship. The more boundaries, the more likely it is to fail. If you have boundaries at all, it's going to fail. That's how it works.